Good morning all. In this video we will be seeing how to switch between motion control mode and speed reference. For that we need to communicate with the drive through Sigma Win software. So I will click on connect, search for drive, click on USB connection, click on search for Servo Pack. So now I found the drive and motor. Click on this and click connect. So now communication is established. So now we try to do the basic parameters. Click on menu, go to edit parameters, then select the hierarchy level, and what is the mode which we are going to select is switching between motion control pulse and speed control. For this is the basic settings. We need to go to change the value. We already made it 10 volt, and what is the motion control, we have to make this value. So now I will make this to 24-bit encode resolution. So I will make it 167772216, and this I will make it 2000 pulses per revolution. I will save these parameters. Then I need to change the I/O allocation. So in I/O allocation, I need to select one input for interchanging between the modes. So I will select input number 44 for interchanging between motion mode and speed control reference. So I will write this parameter. So I will switch off and switch on. So now I have switched off and switched on. I will give servo on command, and I will give start command. So now you can see we need to go to monitor and check for the monitor values. So we go to monitor, and here you can see the monitored values, what is the RPM which is running and what is the position reference it is taking. So now this is in position mode. How that is interchange between position mode and speed mode, that I will show now. So now I will give input 44 and give reference. So now I have given reference and it is interchanging, and if I withdraw the reference input, so it is going to position control mode. By this way you can interchange between two different control methods. Once this position and speed reference is complete, we will go with the next option. What is the next option? We will close this. We will remove servo on. We will go to edit parameters, and here we will change the control method to 8. That is switching between control method, control pulse and torque mode, and we will write the parameters and click on OK. After that we need to power off and power on. After power off and power on is done, then we need to go to I/O allocations. Already we have allocated the input to change between pulse mode and torque reference. So what is the torque reference I have given now is around 3 volt. So I will make it 10 volt, and I will switch on and switch off. It is not required, but still for certificate we will switch off and switch on. But there is one more parameter which you need to change. That is your parameter number PN407. So once I power on, I have not given servo on. Before giving servo on, make sure that you change this parameter. You change this parameter to somewhere around 200 RPM and write it to parameters. In this way you can make it as a safety lock. So now I try to give the input. So I will give servo on. So now it is running in position mode. This we can monitor the position mode. Right, this is working in position control mode. You can see the pulse are getting updated. Okay, now I try to shift the mode from position to torque. So the motor has stopped. So now I'll try to give the torque reference. So once I give the torque reference, the motor will run at minimum 200 rpm, whatever we have set. So make sure that you are limiting the torque. Once you input the torque only, your torque mode will work. So try to implement some torque so that the internal torque reference will increase. So your monitor, it has gone to 3%. So if I remove it and go back, it will work in position control mode. So this is how we change between modes. Now we'll servo off and check what is the other control method. For that I will close this window. I will go to menu. I will go to edit parameters. So I will check this hierarchy level and I will change it to 9, which is nothing but your torque control and analog reference. So I will switch off and switch on. In this method, either your analog reference will work or your torque reference will work. For that we have already configured the input as 44. So I will power on. Okay, now power is on. I will give run command and we can check whether it is running in analog reference or torque reference. For that we need to go to monitor. So here you can monitor what is the value, what is the RPM. It is in 200 RPM, so it is in torque control. So now I try to shift it to analog reference. So once I give the input number 44, so it has gone to analog reference. So I will try to reduce the input voltage. So once I reduce the input voltage, it is running at 46 rpm. I will try to increase the rpm by increasing the voltage level. So now the actual rpm is 369 and I will try to remove the switching between the two modes. Now it has gone to torque mode because I have removed the reference. Once I go back to the speed mode, it goes to the maximum RPM, whatever reference you have set from your analog voltage. So this is how you interchange between two different modes. So now I will remove servo on, then we will go for the next mode. So what is the next control method is that we need to use zero clamp method. What is zero clamp method? Zero clamp method, when your motor you need to clamp below some values. That means if the motor is free falling for 10 or 20 rpm, you need to lock the motor shaft. For that you can use this input. So I will configure 41, input number 41 for zero clamping, and what will the minimum rpm will be 10 rpm, and I need to change the parameter over here to analog reference with speed control 0 clamping. Now I will write the parameter in the servo pack and I need to restart the servo pack. Now I have powered on the servo pack. Now let us see how it is work. So we will go to monitor, we will go to IO monitor and we will give servo on, and we can also check what is the IO allocation value, right. So now the minimum RPM is 391, So what I will try to do is I will reduce the voltage reference so that it will come below 10. So now I have given some value. So the motor is rotating. So now you can see the motor is already rotating. So I need to give that input. So in monitor we can see the motor is rotating at around 11 rpm. Now it is 10 rpm. So in this case, if I give input, it has to stop. So the motor has stopped, and you can see I have given this input and the motor is in idle condition. So you can see motor rotating speed is 0. Once I release the input, the motor starts to rotate automatically. So it is updated as 10 rpm now. So by this way you can stop the motor rotating from free fall. And what is the last option we have? We'll check that also. So for that we need to do some basic settings. Once again we'll go to our basic parameters, edit parameters, and go to PN00, where we will be changing our control method, which is B. B is nothing but switching between pulse train and position inhibit. What does that mean? Either the motor will be rotating in pulse only, but for some reason we will stop the pulse to the host controller. For that the same settings only. So you can see we have already done the settings. Now we need to power off and power on. So now power off and power on is made. I will give servo on and start the input. So now the motor is rotating. So need to do one basic parameter setting. Earlier we did for Z clamp, the same input we will use for position inhibit. So here I will make it 1. I will use pin number 41, and here I will make it 8. So I will write this two parameters, and I will servo off and servo on. Once power off and power on is made, it will be running in position mode now. We can check in the monitor. And we will also take what is there in the IO allocations, additional information. So now you can see the reference is coming and PPS is also coming. Now I will try to give the input. So it has stopped. Now I will try to give the input. I will remove the input. The motor is running. So if the input, the motor has stopped. Now I will give the return the input. The motor is rotating. So this is how you give the input for from blocking the pulse to the controller.